Hello, my name's Bonshek, and I'm the author of this new publication, Wojenna Tułaczka. The book is a story of my father's life during Second World War, and it was originally published in English in Australia under the title Heniek. There's been several articles published about, written about the book and my father's story, including a few that I'll include here. One called War and Peace by Michael Jacobson. And this includes a photograph of my father and his sister when they were young. And there were multiple articles. This one, some clippings I'm showing here. This one has a photograph of my father's family when he was very young in his hometown of Volkovisk at a family picnic. And then some shots of a book signing at the launch in the town where my parents lived in Australia, where there was also a exhibition of artwork, and the artwork, the paintings and drawings that I did around the theme of the story, my father's story. And some of these, the images have been worked on and represented in the book itself. So it was an article by Jasmine Ward here that was published in the Bow Desert Times. And really the story is quite an epic story, as you will see when you read it. But it starts with my father as just as a boy. And he was born in Volkovisk, a town on the eastern part of Poland when it was a reconstituted republic. It's now actually in Belarus, so it's near Białystok. And this photograph is of my father when he was young. He was very happy. Some photographs of Volkovisk from time gone by, and also here another photograph of the old town of Volkovisk from the early 1900s, and the map of where Volkovisk is situated, and see it in relation to Warsaw. Everything was fine for my father except for some family drama, which you'll read about in the book, until the Second World War broke out and Poland was occupied or divided between Germany and Russia. And my father, being on the eastern side, unfortunately he was subject to deportation. His mother, himself and his sister were told without any warning that they should pack up some things and they would be taken to Siberia. And this was a 4-week journey by rail, and they were put in cattle cars. It was quite horrendous conditions, and some did not survive the journey. On this map here you can see the indication of the journey across to Siberia, and they were taken to Kiawi. And here they were told they were going to work in the fields. Within the first winter, 50% of the Polish population died. So it was quite drastic. They were fortunate to escape during the General Anders amnesty, and they made their way south to Tashkent and Samarkand. And again, this whole ordeal is related in the book. It's quite dramatic and quite heart-wrenching. Anyway, when they were found themselves in Samarkand, there was threat of being sent back to Siberia. So they separated, and my father became an orphan with his sister, and they joined the Polish orphanage. And the children were taken overland through what was then, I guess, Persia, through Quetta, which was then in India, and down into Bandra, which is near part of a suburb now of Bombay, or Mumbai. And there were several Polish orphanages established during this period. And firstly, the children were welcomed by the Maharaja of Jamnagar. And there's quite a lot been written about the situation, these Polish orphans. But my father was actually one of a group of older boys, and he found it very difficult to focus on education after everything they'd gone through. And this group of older boys, 15 in all, were taken to a school in Mount Abu. The school is called St. Mary's School, and it's quite a notable school. And I was very fortunate to go and visit this school and find my father's name on the register and meet this gentleman pictured here, who was one of the brothers who knew the Polish boys. He's since passed away, but it was remarkable to meet him and speak about what had happened. Mount Abu is actually considered a bit of a holiday destination for people in India, and it has some incredible attractions, including holy sites like this Jain temple. Now, my father had a lot of difficulty adjusting after what he had been through, but being in this remarkable environment turned out to be a turning point for him. And he visited these temples, and he visited incredible sites on Mount Abu, which I think expanded his kind of sense of understanding about the world, even just as a young, as a youth. There were other boys who were friends of his, like this is a photo of my father and a friend of his who was also at Mount Abu School, and a picture of the school with a cow walking down the pathway. So it was a very different culture, a very different place, but it was welcoming and it was supportive of the children. The book goes into all of the twists and turns of the stories, all of the challenges, all of the heartbreak, and I obviously just skimming across the surface of what happened. But by the time it was coming to the end of the war, children had to decide about what they would do next, because they would not be able to remain in India, and of course that was not desirous. So my father joined the Polish Merchant Navy School, and if you read the book you'll be able to see what happened next, because the story doesn't stop there. I was very fortunate to be in Poland earlier this year and interviewed by Ewa Podolska when I was in Warsaw, and we talked about the book and I guess the motivation behind it and the significance of this story for, I guess, our contemporary situation, and how it's very important to understand the significance of conflict and really how we can find a way to prevent it in the future. And of course we're dealing with these issues today. The book was launched at Poznan Book Fair and is going to be presented at Warsaw Book Fair shortly. This is a photograph of my father as an adult, and I'd just like to finish with this and say that his life, like other Poles like himself who were children during that period, were very remarkable individuals who were able to survive such an incredible ordeal and are inspirational and actually kind of heroes in their own right. So I think you will find this story very valuable. Thank you.